Charlie Daniels has been playing music for as long as he can remember. In the late 1960s, as a young studio musician, Charlie had the chance to play on 3 albums for Bob Dylan. Well, these sessions gave Charlie the confidence and credibility to begin a career in Nashville that has now spanned almost 5 decades. Charlie just released a brand new album full of great Bob Dylan tunes, but with a CDB spin on it. Lynn caught up with Charlie at his home studio outside of Nashville to talk all about that new project.
I am so thrilled today to catch up with Charlie Daniels. I've been looking forward to this, talking to you about this wonderful project.
Oh, thank you.
So you have gone in and made this album acoustically, The Grid, and it's Doin' It Dylan. You went back and did a tribute. I guess took all of his songs, not all of them, but a lot of iconic, no, that would be impossible, from Mr. Bob Dylan. Talk about where you were inspired to come up with this idea.
You know, I think it's probably that it's been in the back of my mind, maybe subconsciously for a long time. And the way that the acoustical part of it came around, off the grid, just because it's acoustic, we did a song for a show called Hell on Wheels. It's on one of the, and we had to use, the show takes place back to 1800, so we had to use instruments that were around the 1800s, which were not electric, were acoustic. And we cut the song, and we were so enamored with the sound of it. We had never done an all-acoustic thing before. And we were so taken with it that we, David, my manager, said, you ought to do a whole album that way. So I guess that whatever that seed of a thought about Dylan that I had back of my mind came to the fore, and we went in and I started picking songs, and we started culling out the ones we didn't feel right about, and ended up with 10 that we did feel right about, and I'm pretty proud of this project.
Absolutely. And one of the songs that I just love, Hard Rain's Gonna Tell. Talk about that story. That one.
Hard Rain's Gonna Fall. That to me is one of the real Dylan-esque things that from back, the 60s and the turbulent times. That to me the song, it's the imagery is just hard to pin down. It says, "Where have you been?" I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard. What does that mean? I have no idea, but it's pleasing. I like it. It's almost like it's saying something ominous is going to happen. Atomic war, Judgment Day, who knows? I don't know. It never does say. The song never says, but it's like, where have you been? What did you see? And where are you going? And once you get past, that's the premise of the song, but once you get past that and you start getting into the lyrics, it's hard to figure out what they're talking about. But to me, it means something ominous is going to happen, but if we try hard enough, we might be able to get around it.
And it's a hard rain gonna fall.
I want to take you back to getting that call from Bob Johnston years ago, because you went in and you got to work on his albums, 3 of them, and played guitar.
I did.
What was that like? Where were you that day and working with Bob Dylan?
I don't remember where I was. I remember doing the session. I was only supposed to do one, ended up doing all the rest of the Nashville Skyline dates and 2 other albums. Working with Dylan was incredible. He was great. He was friendly. He was conversive. He talked to everybody. He had a great sense of humor. I had all these preconceived ideas from things I had heard and read that I didn't know where he was. I thought he would be very eccentric and standoffish and that sort of thing. Totally and completely different from that. Very friendly, very down to earth, very nice to everybody. And when he started doing the tunes, when he started singing the songs, and everybody just fell in on it, and the album went by like that. They had something like 15 sessions booked to do it, and we only used a portion of them. We used half, 3/4 of them, something like that. And it was over with. It was done because it flowed so easily.
Wow. And the producer that called you that day,
Bob Johnston.
Did you work with him in the future?
I had been, I worked with Bob Johnston. Bob Johnston was the guy that brought me to town. I met Bob in Fort Worth, Texas in 1959. When he worked at Bell Helicopter out there before he ever got to producing Bob Dylan and Simon and Garfunkel and Marty Robbins and Johnny Cash and all these people.
Wow.
So he's the one that brought me to Nashville. I owe him a great deal. This album is dedicated to him.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me in the jingle jangle morning.
Bob Johnston had an incredible influence on me because we used to write together. We used to write songs together, write quite a few tunes together. And he was a hard worker. time meant nothing. The clock meant nothing when you were, and he taught me that every word has a rhyme and every lyric has a melody if you work hard enough to find them. So you just go in and you keep going until you get it done. You just grind it out. And he instilled a work ethic in me when it comes to songwriting that you don't give up on it. You just keep on. You get what you never turn loose of a good song before you're completely finished with it.
Wow.
So yeah, he went a long way in that way. As far as Dylan influencing my songwriting and my general attitude to show business, he represented a freedom that didn't exist before he came along. It was all Tin Pan Alley and Broadway musicals and things, and he came along and did something so different that it was just kind of created when it became successful and other people started recording his songs and he started being known as an artist. It created a freedom that was never there before. This is before the Beatles. He did something, the way he paid no attention to what anybody else did, he did what he did and let the chips fall where they would. And it opened up a whole new world for people that got to thinking, well, you know, I want to experience that. I want to do what I do without having to worry about if radio's going to play it or if anybody's going to like it or anything like that. Let's just try to create some music.
Hold me on mine. I love that country pie. I say, hold me on mine. I love that country pie.
That new Off the Grid Doin' It Dylan project just went on sale last week, and it is a pretty amazing project that I'm sure you're going to want to check out soon. Right now it is time for another quick little break, but we've got lots more music up ahead. We'll chat about Pretty Feet when we come back. Don't go away.